for those that have followed my story, you might recognize what I've just done here. Well, hi, there you are. Welcome to my garden. I told you we were going to start a big project and I was going to show you how I start a deep mulch garden. I hope you've been gathering your mulch. I couldn't wait for you. It was plumb cold this morning. I went and got the first load of wood chips. I also got some green, and I kind of cleaned up some trash that I had piled up here by the gate. We can go ahead and get started. Let me get this coat off. We're going to work up a sweat. I hope you brought your gloves. I really think the first thing we want to do is decide how we want to lay this out. Now this was an old horse corral, and you can see I have one more dead tree right here. It's been dying for the last 5 or 6 years, and a bunch of these branches have come down, which I'm going to have to clean up. But that's why we've got broken fence down through here. Most of the dead trees have fallen, and I've got rid of most of them. I do want to keep this lane open so we can get down to the greenhouse and the shed. Now, it looks like they took and rounded off these corners. I think that was to keep the horses from running into them. But then we got a nice straight line here with a gate, and we'll go ahead and put some wire on it to keep the critters from coming in this direction. Part of the reason I want to keep a lane here, and we've mulched really heavy on this side of the garden. You were with me when we did that. When it rains hard here, and it can, 2 or 3 inches an hour, it'll come gushing off this hill, and I don't want to wash away the garden. That first year I put down leaves, it slid it like the frosting on a cake. And I had potatoes coming up all over the garden. That's one of the reasons I know that roost stout method works. Now right here, I had a couple bales of straw that were left over from the cold frames last year. Before you got here, I took the rusty bands off of here, and I had been piling some plastic bags and stuff right here, and once I moved it, there's virtually nothing growing underneath there. And that's the kind of result we're going to get with the deep mulch. Now we're not just going to put it down as a nice little covering, we're going to put this in deep. And it'll be a while before we need to spread this out. So I'm going to just start making piles, and I'm going to show you what you can do. Now we've talked a lot about the mulch as being a cold compost. You don't have to do this. Some people really like to. So I'm just going to demonstrate. I don't have enough cardboard to fill this whole area, so I'm not going to do it to the whole area. But you can put cardboard down. That's one good barrier. I'm not just putting it where it's bare. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on this grass, and I'm going to just start making a pile. I'm going to go ahead and make a pretty nice pile right here in the corner. I don't want to block the gate right now. This is brand new wood chips. It's got a lot of green in it. But we can also take our straw, mix in with this, as part of this. And this is going to be one big pile when we're done. I also have a bunch of sweet potato leaves. Just kind of spread that out a little bit. And then cover it up with chips. And when you lift that hay up, you can see the transition of where the grass is growing on the outside versus where that hay has been. And this is going to be so much easier than trying to get through that little bitty gate. You just pile it up. We're going to bring in some more wood chips and put in here. Make this pile a little bigger. That'll be a pretty nice little start. See, it's already steaming up and breaking down. There's also some really good green leaves in here, some really good green wood, and then they've got some dead branches and some dried leaves. So we got a fine little mix here. We got a variety of trees, and the nice thing is they're all native to right here in this area. Now you can get bagged mulch, but do not get the dyed kind if you're going to put it in your garden. It's nice for walkways and whatnot, but I wouldn't want that dye in around my food. You know, I said the hardest work you're ever going to do in the deep mulch garden is harvest. That's true. Second hardest work you're ever going to do is move a pile of wood chips with a pitchfork. But you know what? Saving me a gym membership. I think that's all I'm going to put on that load. Told you needed to bring your gloves. Well, let's go get this on the new part of the garden. And for everybody that stuck around this long, and for those that have followed my story, you might recognize what I've just done here. This is 3 feet tall, more than 3 feet around. That's a compost pile. These wood chips are warm already, so we're going to let this compost down. So we're making little compost piles, and that's going to be the trick. Because you turn compost piles, that'll also help mix this together as it breaks down and as we spread it out and as we add leaves. So what we're going to have in here is a bunch of these little compost piles. That's going to be the trick. Now I know what it's going to be like underneath there. I never put any cardboard down. You can do that if you want. It makes a nice barrier. And I don't mind putting it down there by the gate. But you don't have to. Pile it up 3 feet thick or thicker with whatever organic matter you can get your hands on. As it starts breaking down, we'll bring in more organic material and we'll go ahead and we'll turn this into it. In the middle of winter, this is going to be about a foot thick, the entire area. Now for right now, I'm not going right up against the edges because we are going to add some wire fence and whatnot, and I want to be able to get up to that. And as we spread this out, that will fill back in. You can do this too. It's just that simple. Gather mulch, make piles, turn those piles, pull it back, plant into beautiful soil. Well, the leaves haven't started turning here yet, even though it's pretty cold this morning, but they will start turning pretty quickly. This is not a one-day project. This is going to go well into December. Just keep gathering your mulch. You can do this too. Now I'll probably put another load on here today, but I've got a bunch of picking to do. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the deep mulch, click that link right there and I'll meet you right back in the garden. If you want to learn about the living soil, click that link and I'll meet you right back in the garden. And remember, until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.